All right, and we're live.
What's up, everybody? I would like to, introduce Rosario and I.
Well,
Um,
hello, what's up? I'm Rosario.
yeah, and I'm Riley, and
This is
this is
classic.
our
What's up?
this is classic mix up. So this is our kind of our brainchild, our kind of pride and joy that Rosario and I have been wanting to start up for a while now.
We've
But
been working on for a little bit.
yeah, we've been doing some test runs, and hopefully this is the first episode to see the light of day. But basically, to run it down, what we want this podcast to be is just a little like discussion of music that is close to mine and Rosario's hearts. Me and Rosario are like longtime friends since 8th grade, and we've talked about music since
And
then.
this is what we bond over. Yeah.
Yeah, we both go to colleges and pretty pretty far distances for each other.
We're
it's a
nowhere
way-
near each other, so we don't see each other in real life ever.
Yeah, we keep in contact through this podcast, so it's a couple avenues, and hopefully we're like, we need to do something to keep in touch. We're going to start up a podcast talking about music,
and it's going to be easy for us because that's what we talk about anyways, right?
Yeah, when we're together. And the namesake of the show is from our dear friend Will Goodman, who shout out Will. He's supposed to be on this podcast, but he'll be
a special guest at times.
He'll show up.
He'll be sprinkled in.
Yeah. But he's kind of like our honorary third member, and
he's a technical guy. So shout out Will for helping.
Shout out Will. Yep.
We had no idea, and we tried once and we failed, but we're trying again now, and it's gonna work this time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, he kind of coined the phrase "the classic mix-up," or through his friends claim classic mix-up, and we would even say the name in discussion. Oh, what a classic mix-up! Because I'm always mixing up song names
and album names,
and the lyric names, and Rosario's always there to correct me and say,
I'm kind of like the encyclopedia guy, and Riley's kind of like the musical knowledge guy. So between the two of us, we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
A lot of nerd shit.
Yeah, right. A lot of nerd shit, and you're gonna hear that later today because we're talking about at least one nerd album today.
Nerdy album.
Right.
So I don't know if you're
premise of the podcast, Riley.
You can go ahead.
No, I was just. So basically, the premise of this whole thing is that we're gonna be able to talk about whatever we want, obviously, but we do kind of have like a theme to try to keep us on topic and have stuff to do week to week. So our theme is, or our gimmick is that every week we're gonna give each other an album to listen to, and then we're gonna discuss it on the podcast. So yeah. So, for example, for this week, Riley gave me Glow On by Turnstile, and I gave Riley In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel, and we're just kind of...
An iconic indie staple.
Yep, it's a staple. Classic. We're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about whatever else is on our mind, maybe talk about some new music, and just kind of see where it goes, I guess. Yeah.
Music politics, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we're just hoping it's this is a good way to reach people that have the same passion for music that Rosario and I do, and kind of like, obviously we will have Twitter, we have Twitters and stuff that you can reach out to us and like have discussions or like call us out.
That'd be awesome
for our like bad takes or something. Like we'll plug that.
I loved having a little discourse and having a little discussion. And also for people who aren't into music that much, maybe you stumble upon this. I hope you find some new things to listen to. Maybe you haven't heard either of these albums, and they're both pretty good. So I would definitely recommend checking them out.
What I like to see this as is like, we're both. I'm not really serious about this, and I don't think you are either.
No, we're kind of just trying to have fun, and I don't know.
Yeah, we're just two friends talking about music.
Let's put it this way: if no one listens to this, we won't really care. We're gonna keep doing this every week for as long as we can. So,
yeah. Well, that's well said.
Yeah. So that's our little episode 1 introduction.
Yep.
So, I guess we can hop right into it.
Yeah.
Do you want to start off with the Turnstile album because I think we both have a little less to say about it, or do you want to jump into the?
Yeah, we can start off with we can start off with the Turnstile album.
Glow On. Yeah. Do you want to say a few words about why you picked it or what?
So this is like my album of the month. This is like so Turnstile was a band formed, I think, like 10 years ago, 10 something years ago, and they're known as like a pretty big like hardcore band, punk band, even maybe pop punk, alt punk, whatever. and they have like 3 albums, and I recently discovered them at the beginning of the month, and I started with their newest album, Glow On, which is what I gave Rosario to listen to. It came out August 27th, 2021. It only runs like a half an hour. I know Rosario likes shorter albums.
Yeah, I do like that a lot.
And this is kind of I wanted to give you this album because it's kind of an ode to the music that me and you like kind of like met as when we were both friends, like when we met each other.
You bring that up because I was gonna say the same thing. You like low key stole my thunder there, but anyways, go on.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, that's why I gave you this, because I'm like it reminded me of 8th grade when we met and we were both listening to like I mean, it wasn't as the same. It
wasn't as heavy.
No. This is more like
this is
more enjoyable. Like in hindsight, like I find this more enjoyable. Like, but like we were all listening to like Green Day and All Time Low, and like I remember that
Blink-182 was actually
California by Blink-182.
Yeah, it was right when that album California came out. So we are you're about to be 20. I'm 19.
I'm 20 already. My birthday
you're 20
already.
Oh yeah, it was just your birthday. Ago.
Yeah, dude.
So this was like probably 6 years ago.
Yeah, we're like 13, 14. Maybe.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just but it's on all of my album. It's on my chill. It's on my driving playlist. It's on it's on my workout playlist. And it's branched off into listening to all of their stuff and enjoying every single song. And
okay, cool.
So I thought you would enjoy it. That's
I did enjoy it. I'll start by saying that. I'll say one thing is that I was looking at the cover of this album. So if anyone hasn't seen the cover of this album, it's like a pink, like a light pink. And I think it has like clouds on it, right? I should probably be looking at it.
It is. That's exactly what the cover is.
So it's pink. It's a very light color scheme. It's just got some clouds on it. And then I looked at the Apple Music description, and it's like hard rock. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So this I didn't really know what it was going to sound like at all going into it.
Yeah.
But I will say it caught me a little off guard, but I was like super into it once it started. So it's like a heavy. It is hard rock, but it's also one thing I'll say I liked about it, when I think my gripe with some stuff in this genre is like the way the vocals are delivered sometimes comes off as a little like screamy to me. Like I don't like anything that's too heavy or anything that has like some screamo elements to it. I've never gotten into that. But I really like the singer's voice in this, and I love how he delivers the lyrics.
I totally agree.
It makes it like stomachable, like to have that heavy instrumentation and like just like a pretty normal, good singing voice, like average rock singer.
It reminds me of like even like Henry Rollins, like when he was in what was it?
What was he?
Black Flag.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like that's some stuff that I'm sure I don't know if you got into in middle school, but I was into that stuff, like the punk, like true punk,
not like pop punk.
No, like real like punk.
Yeah, no, I was big into pop punk, like Blink-182, All Time Low, like you said.
But what I like about this is it's got some singing in it, dude. Like
he's a good singer.
But it's got the talking. It's just like. But it's not screamo. You're not going to be listening to like Pierce the Veil
I
or
think
anything.
that's what sets it apart from other things in its genre, because I don't know. Like I said, hard rock is not necessarily my thing, but it like I said, it sets apart from other things in its genre. And I was reading reviews of it, just trying to see what I guess a critical consensus was of it. It's got pretty positive reviews. Yeah. And I'll say one thing that I read in a review that like really resonated with me. I'm giving credit, so it doesn't sound like I'm stealing it. But Australian Guitar Magazine called the album a true masterclass in the art of heavy music. And that sentence really stuck with me because it says the art of heavy music. I think a lot of people, when they hear heavy stuff like this, kind of write it off as like easy, cheap, just like loud. Its whole selling point is being loud in your face.
Yep.
Where this album felt more personal, more well crafted, more carefully made, and maybe this could open the door for me to listen to more hard rock, heavy metal stuff like that.
Yep.
Because this has shown me that it's not just cheap screamo shit. It could be something really well made and artistic.
Yeah. No, this is kind of like I got like it's very for some reason shades of like Fugazi. Or Fugazi.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know about them? Like
Yeah.
they're
yeah,
very like that they were like in the 90s and they were very like experimental and they were kind of like
punk music, right?
They're like one of the more like well-known punk bands. And the sound is kind of like that, but it's 2021. Like, you know, like it's now, and this is a band that's been around for, 12 years and, in relativity to punk, like you can go to a punk show and still like have good punk music that's well produced, that, you can still go into a decent mosh. Like you can watch some of their shows from, a year or two, your past couple of years, and it's still like a punk show, which I think is cool too. Like that attracted me is like, if you're going to like I don't know who even really does like true punk anymore. That's like,
exactly. That's the question.
You can't, I mean, like Green Day, like I've been to Green Day a couple of times.
I think this album proved that like punk is still alive. Like to me, listening to this album, it did not sound like 2021 to me.
No, it did not. And it's great production too.
Yeah. And that's what when you were saying earlier, how it reminded you of, when we met, what we listened to. We were listening to stuff from the early 2000s. This album feels like a time capsule to me. It doesn't sound like this. That almost sounds like an insult saying it doesn't sound like it came out in 2021.
Right.
The quality is there. I mean, it doesn't sound old. It just sounds like a style that's not done anymore. And I thought it was super refreshing and just like made me happy that there's people out here doing this style. It's getting critical attention and it's getting commercial success. Cause I mean, it's a fairly popular album, at least in the music lover world. And that just made me super happy.
Yeah. It's just, it's good. And like, what's awesome is I went and listened to, and since, listening to this album, I've listened to all of their music, like Turnstile's music, and like the older albums just get more like rougher and like messier, and it's just so good. Like I don't like I recommend to you if I don't recommend it to you, like
just like go on my
podcast, like go like their first, I think it's like an EP technically, is like Step to Rhythm or something like that. And it's so good. Like it is so just pure, like just nasty punk. Like it's just good.
I'll have to give it a go.
But yeah, this album, like, I don't know if you want to highlight a couple songs that you like, and I can kind of highlight mine, but
yeah, I would love to. I mean, I'll first start off by saying that I absolutely love the inclusion of the song Alien Love Call and a slow song. I thought that was kind of jarring in between Fly Again and Wild World, and really just in the scope of the whole album. But I thought it was super cool, an awesome change of pace. And if I had to give one criticism and actually say I wish they did kind of more stuff like that, because that's like pretty easily my favorite song, which goes against everything I've been saying about how I love the Punk Revival, because it's like the least heavy song on it. But it's a super cool song. I love Blood Orange's contribution on both the tracks that he's on. And I wish they honestly leaned into that sound more. But some of the more like hardcore songs I liked is the first two tracks, Mystery and Blackout, were both great. And then I'd say the last song, like I said, Lonely Desires, has Blood Orange on it, but it's a little more heavy. That one's really sick too.
The dude, I agree. I think like the heart of the album is strong as well. Like, I mean, I would say like songs 7 through 10, which is Endless, Fly Again, Alien Love Call, and Wild World, are like so. And even Dance Off is good, but it's just not that. Like I like 7 through 10. Like those tracks are great.
I actually completely agree with you. I think 8 through 10 is my favorite 3-track run. I mean, I love Alien Love Call, and then sandwiched between those two heavy but still like soulful, and Fly Again and Wild World are also two of the best songs. So
yes, I think they're more commercial sounding too. I think
they're catchy, but they're still heavy, and they still stay true to the sound. Unlike Alien Love Call, but I like the diversion of the sound in Alien Love Call.
Yes, that's true. And it's funny because I'm looking at the streams on Spotify. Like Alien Love Call is the second most streamed song on the album.
Is it really?
Or third, I'm sorry. Fourth.
Okay.
I didn't scroll up to the top of it. It's the fourth most, but It goes Mystery, Blackout, Holiday, then Alien Love Call.
Okay, so those early tracks, usually on average, the early tracks in an
Right.
album have more
But
streams. But
Holiday is track 5 and Fly Again Alien Love Call is track 9.
which
So
shows
those
that people
songs,
really love that song, I guess.
Yeah, no, my favorite song, or one of my favorites, I think I like this whole album. I really don't have a song that I don't like on here, but I love TLC. It's 1:42, but I think it's like so good. I don't know. I love it.
I'll say about that one, I didn't like the amount of repetition in that song, but once that ended, then it started becoming better for me. But I felt like I was listening to Playboi Carti or something because he kept saying the same thing over and over again. But
I don't know. I love just the pure energy for like
1:40. Big time energy. I don't know anyone's name in this band, but the lead singer does have big time energy.
Yes. Yeah. No, there was I forgot what song it was. I'm trying to skim through like the songs, but there's this one. It was like there's like this really good bass line in one of these songs, and it's like I was listening to this album and I was in line to get Chick-fil-A on my campus.
Yeah,
and I was like banging, like I was headbanging.
You were, yeah.
And I was like literally like kind of doing the where you're standing up straight. I'm looking down at my phone. I'm just like looking up and down, like I'm like,
yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
And I'm like hard, and I look up and I kind of blink and I look around and these girls in front of me are looking dead at me. I'm like, oh shit, this music's good. Like,
yeah, dude. With music that makes you forget what's going on in the world around you, that's how
it was just pretty. Yeah. I don't know. There's just so many high spots on this album. Like even Don't Play at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where it's like the scream into the fast drum beat. And then it's just
that at that point of the album, I think I was like, whoa. But also I was like, I'm actually really liking this. So
yeah, my introduction to them was Blackout. I don't know. I heard it on
That's a great song. I think that's probably my second favorite.
Yeah. It's just so good. I don't know. I can't even explain it because it's like
this album's hard because for anyone who hasn't heard it, there's not like much to talk about. It's literally just like good. It's just heavy guitar riffs, fast-paced drums, good singing. It's like, I don't know. We're not music critics. Like we just sometimes it's hard for us to just say we like an album.
Yeah. No, I recommend this album to you because it's just an album that you need to hear. That's just fun.
I understand it. Yeah.
It's fun. You can listen to it when you're sad. You can listen to it when you're happy. You can listen to this when you're running. Like I said, I listen to it driving, running.
I want to go run around. I want to go run, and I'm not a runner. So.
Right. There was the song Endless. I was like, dude, I could like fight someone to this song. Like I'm like literally like.
You know what this album made me want to do, Riley? You're gonna relate to this probably. I hope.
What's it?
I was probably halfway through this album, and I'm like, man, I really want to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Right
yes, dude. Yes, that's what I said. Fly Again. Fly Again is that song, dude.
Yeah. If you guys know what the Tony Hawk Pro Skater song, I can't talk.
They needed this album only on that game. Like, don't throw any of the new stuff on it. Throw this there. Like,
if you know what the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack sounds like, and you like it, highly recommend you listen to this album because I love that soundtrack. I love this album, and it makes me want to play the video.
Oh, we both played the remastered, the 1 and 2. Yeah,
sweet. I love that.
But you could take that remastered soundtrack, take all the new songs off of it, throw Glow On with this entire album, and you're not disappointed. That's just
you wouldn't. It would honestly would fit right in.
Right. But yeah, like
that's about the highest praise you can give an album in this genre, I think.
It's just Tony Hawk. It's Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Yeah,
if it makes me want to play Tony Hawk, it's a good.
I felt so cool the other day because I went down to my my art school girlfriend, my lovely girlfriend's school, and I hung out with her friends. And I was talking with one of her friends, and I was like, "Oh, do you know Turnstile?" And they were like, obviously like more punk than me. I'm rocking my button-up T-shirt and my cargo shorts, like looking like I walk out of a Black Keys concert. And this person was like, oh yeah, like you have you heard of this album? And I I felt like I was in a world that I like belonged in.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm talking like about like Playboy Cardi and I don't know what's going on.
You don't know
I'm like,
anything
I
about
know Turnstile. I'm like,
Yeah, that's cool.
yep,
I love when that happens.
I know what's
I
up.
love when that happens. I don't want to sound like a loser, but I love when that happens in real life, especially because that
Yes.
happens on Twitter every day.
Oh yeah,
but finding someone that you can talk to face about music, I think that's why we became such close friends.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's an awesome feeling,
dude. Yeah, for sure. And that's what again. That's why I gave this album. It's a time. It felt like a time capsule of like.
It does.
Of like going back to middle school and being like, dude, you listen to this? Do you listen to this? Do you listen to this? I listen to this. Oh, dude, I've never heard of that. Like that kind of stuff.
And that's still what we're doing now. Second year of college. That's still what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome,
dude.
I'm glad you picked it, man. It was enjoyable. Listen.
Yeah, dude, it's a good album, and I recommend it.
By Turnstile.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of the probably my top song of the month. I mean, top album of the month.
Nice.
I mean, it's just calling it out, but
yeah. Any closing remarks?
Dude, I would just recommend it. It's 80% of my workout playlist.
I'm sure it would be good for that if I worked out.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. You gotta do a nice. You gotta max out your squat. Maybe it's your last set of the day. Maybe you gotta do some cardio at the end of the day. You throw some Turnstile.
See, it would be good for cardio. Like I said, it makes you want to run and or skateboard and or play a skateboarding video game.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you want to transition to.
Yeah. We can move on to
for sure.
To the big boy of the day. So, the album I gave Riley, which is the cult classic, "In the Aeroplane Over the Sea" by Neutral Milk Hotel. Which is one of my favorite albums of all time. And I know that's kind of a basic take. Okay. I know it's like it's cringe or whatever, because it's basically considered, if you don't know, this album is basically considered like the one essential music nerd album. So having it as your favorite is kind of like I don't know, but I don't really care because I love the album. I think everything about it is amazing, and
it's a favorite album for many for a very good reason.
Right. And it's kind of like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy or an album like that where so many people like it that it almost becomes uncool to like it. But I don't care. I think it's an amazing album. And people like it for a reason. And, it's a classic. It's a cult classic. But, I think it has, all the right elements. Like, it has some of the most intriguing songwriting I've ever heard. It's off the wall and just like nothing you've heard before.
Right.
Impressive vocal performance. I think.
Oh, dude. Disgusting. Like
the stuff that he can do, Jeff Magnum, the stuff that Jeff Magnum can do with his voice.
Yeah.
It's incredibly impressive.
Oh,
and then
it is gross. Like,
yeah. And some of this stuff we'll get into it later about individual facts about songs. Some of the stuff was recorded in one take. Shit like that. Just
but you can tell, like, I mean,
it's raw and emotional. It's just
awesome.
like it's straight up.
Well, it's funny that you gave me this album because I'm between me and you, I'm more of the indie nerd. Like, I know of this album. I've heard, obviously heard the Namesake song in Airplane Over the Sea like thousands and thousands of times, and I've heard of "Oh Calmly" and like that's it. Really, those two songs, but I've never listened to the whole album. So you recommending this is something that I've in more in indie centric like headspace or social space. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, you haven't listened to this?" I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to listen to like everything, and I'm like, oh, whatever. And this has been since beginning of high school. People have been recommending me this album. I'm just like, I can't do that. I got to take some time to listen to other stuff, or I pushed it away. But this is literally like the music I love, like, which is funny.
That's great because it's not an easily accessible album. By the way, so I think a big reason of why it's considered such an essential music nerd album is for the reason that the average person might have a hard time getting into this because it sounds like nothing else someone has probably ever heard.
Well, it doesn't open like a traditional album. Like I feel like the first two songs, like King Carrot Flowers.
King Carrot Flowers, yeah.
Yeah. like that song isn't like really like anything like on the rest of the album until the second half of parts 2 and 3.
Right.
Like, so basically part 3 of
Part 3.
King Carrot Flower. Like,
yeah.
It's like, I mean, I wrote a whole like paper for this shit. Like, I was listening to this album, and while I was writing, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna forget about this.
Yeah,
I literally wrote a whole paper because of this
album.
album.
To the 40-minute runtime.
Right. It's crazy. Like, I have my first sentence on my paper that I'm reading off of is Aeroplane Over the Sea made me uncomfortable with emotion in the best way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
like I hated this. Like, it made me like I needed to like go hug my mom or go talk to my girlfriend or tell my friends I love them. I don't know. Like, I needed to like express
especially
emotion.
The lyrics.
Yeah.
It's the lyrics. They're unsettling.
It's so much loss, dude. So I love the lyrics. Like, you're a big lyrics guy, but I'm more of I like the way this sounds. It sounds good.
Right.
Like,
I'm a little bit of both, but between the two of us, I guess.
I'm the guitar. I play guitar.
Right. See, okay, yeah. I've never played an instrument, and I don't know anything about music really, so I don't appreciate that as much. I do appreciate the writing though. So
right.
That is
so
true.
We're like, I may be attracted to a song that's more sad and lyrically, but I get pumped to it because I'm like, dude, this is heavy. Yeah. This is good.
Yeah.
But it's sad as shit. And
it is.
You come at me and you're like, oh, this song isn't like, I didn't enjoy this. Excuse me. I didn't enjoy this song because lyrically it just wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, so you gave me this album. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look at the lyrics while I'm listening to this. And that was the best.
And the lyrics are a doozy on this thing.
Yes. And like, the first 2 songs, I initially didn't look at the lyrics. And then I think it's funny because King Carrot Flowers, like part 2 and 3 is like literally like a minute of I love Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But
just the way that he's singing though makes it
it's insane. I can sing along to it. And
I try.
I'm not a JC guy, right? So
it's not about that. It's about
it's good, Yeah. Right. I'll be sitting in the car with my girlfriend. She's like, why are you singing?
You're in the car screaming, I love you, Jesus Christ. And she's like, what is going on?
She's like, I thought you were atheist. I'm like, dude, I am. This song's just good. No, what's crazy is she loves this album. My girlfriend loves this album. She's like, Riley, I can't believe you haven't listened to this. And she's like, I can't believe you haven't listened to this. And right after you told me about this album and I listened to it, I go into class the next morning and my professor has a carrot tattoo with a crown on it. It's like around the stem, like the top of the stem.
Yeah.
And someone asked him, why do you have a carrot tattoo? He's like, well, the song King Carrot Flowers on In an Airplane Over the Sea. No, I shit you not. This is real as fuck.
What a weird
coincidence.
Yeah,
coincidence.
I saw you tweet about this, and I was going to ask you about it on the podcast.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you like beforehand because this has to be a genuine conversation. I did tweet about it because I could not like keep that in. But so yeah, he's crazy. like yeah, like he was someone asked him about his tattoo, and he was like, yeah, like I don't know if you are any of you are familiar with the band Neutral Milk Hotel, and once he said Neutral Milk Hotel, I'm like, oh shit, like this is a King Carrot Flowers tattoo.
Album. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, first time I told my wife I love her was to the song King Carrot Flowers, and we both have a carrot with a crown on it. And I said, dude, this guy is awesome. like dude, this is crazy. Like, this is like the coincidence, the timing.
Jeez. Can I ask what class that guy teaches? I was wondering.
It's readings into urban planning.
Okay, so it has to do with your major then. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Shout out to RJ. If I don't know if this ever
reaches
get out to him, but RJ, like he's a cool dude.
Sounds like a cool dude.
Dude, he's got. Have you heard of the story of the Polish bear that like would carry ammunition for the Polish military and stuff?
I don't think so, but
okay,
sounds like something that
it's a pretty like well spread story around the internet. But like basically, the Polish army during one of the world wars like found this baby bear, raised it to carry ammunition, and so whatever. Like that same professor of mine has a fucking bear tattoo where the bear is holding a bomb. It's in honor of this Polish bear because he's Polish. I'm like, this guy's crazy.
That's a crazy way to honor your heritage.
Oh no, it's a 9 a.m. class, and I have no problem going to that class at 9
That's
a.m.
awesome. I love
it's always
that.
exciting.
A good teacher makes everything better.
Yeah, and there's like really only reading homework, so it's like pretty
That's cool.
easy. But yeah. Anyway,
getting back, reeling it back in. Here.
Really, give me back.
So we're at the beginning of the album talking about King of Carrot Flowers, and right off the bat, you just get slapped in the face with just the first thing that comes to my mind is the last lyric of King of Carrot Flowers Part 1, when it says, "And your mom would drink until she was no longer speaking, and dad would dream of all the different ways to die.
Yeah.
Each one a little more that he could dare to try." Like, holy shit, already you're like, mom's an alcoholic, dad's considering all these ways to kill himself. It's like, and then that's one way to start an album, right? I mean, getting right into it.
Yeah, I'd also like to say, like, I didn't look up anything online about this album.
So you're going purely off theory?
Yeah, because I know you're into this stuff. You know, so you're into this album.
Huge,
okay, and I got some theories. Okay, but we'll get into that.
I would love to hear them because everyone has some theories because no one truly knows.
No, and I don't think we will know.
This guy's talking about.
I don't think we will know.
And he is kind of crazy. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so dude. Okay, so I'm gonna read over some notes, and you can talk on them. Or whatever.
Yeah, I'd love to comment on that.
I would say King Carrot Flowers Part 2 and 3 is my favorite song. I kind of went between that and Holland to 1945. Like,
okay.
Good pick. That and then I say, but those are like 1A, 1B, like kind of favorites. But then I would definitely say "Oh Calmly" is like number 2. Because that song is fucking. That song we were talking about like songs that makes me want to fight people. For some reason,
there's something about
an 8-minute song is just like I could sit there, like if I had to like go play football or something like that, or get pumped for something. If I'm going to a concert, I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna like put thick fucking dense headphones in, take my glasses off, sit and close my eyes and be like, like singing the fucking song, because that's how good that song is. But anyway, like I'm getting off a track, but like. My 1A, 1B songs are King Carrot Flowers, Part 2 and 3,
and Holland 1945.
Holland 1945. I think King Carrot Flowers Part 2 and 3 is that he's saying, "Thank you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus Christ," so powerfully. But then the most pure breakdown you could on the album is right, and then like. On the top, you know, all that kind of shit. Like the classic indie sound that this album is really known for, you know, like basically is that second half of the song. It sounds like a lot of stuff that I listen to on my own. Like it's very reminiscent of even early Black Keys. I hate to, turn
everything
it into.
Ties back to the Black Keys.
It is my favorite band. I got to rep, but that's I mean. Fuzz rock, like fuzz. I love fuzz. I throw some distortion on a guitar, and I'll eat
this
it
album
up.
has distortion. I'll tell you.
Oh my! And it's beautiful. Like I love the singing. It's a mix of good indie.
I'm so glad that you can appreciate like these factors of it, because like I said earlier, there's a lot of people who don't really understand what's going on in this album.
No, like I'll listen to anything. It's not
accessible, but
I'll listen to anything.
That's true.
So it's like, and I'll appreciate it. Like I appreciate music. Like one night I listened to Japanese jazz fusion albums until like 4 a.m. because I could. Like I'm very music guy. You know, we're both music guys.
Yeah, we both are, but you especially.
Yeah. But just that breakdown is purely like awesome. The album. That's like
it's
what else we going down the list? Aeroplane Over the Sea is annoyingly catchy. Like so that's all I had to say. I've heard that song dozens of times, and I can't. Right. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say that's one of the ones that like I'd say really showcases like the sound of the album and the instrumentation and the catchiness.
Yeah.
Less so the writing, but also it has some lyrics that play towards the overall meaning of the album. But
yes, I do agree with that. I couldn't while I was listening to this song, because I've heard it so much, I couldn't stand it. but in a bad way, which is not. It's purely my ears have heard it too many times in the cringy conversations of, oh my god, this is the best indie song of all time. Like,
right. This is a lot of people's favorite song off
right. But it's just not mine. Like it's okay. It's a good song. I appreciate it, but I can't listen to it. I don't know. I've heard
my favorite songs have jumped around a lot on this album. I will say my number one favorite was Never This, and as of now, it's probably not in my top 3, but I'm never gonna skip it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the most. I would say it's the most like known song off the album. So easily. I knew this song before listening, but I'd heard it so much I didn't want to listen to the album, which I'm glad I listened to the album because the rest of the songs are awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then moving on to Two-Headed Boy, I love this riff. This is super powerful, like just the main riff on it.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's.
And I broke down the lyrics of this song, and I was like, okay. I have some theories that it's about a dead kid or a sick kid, and it's the transition into the Fool's really good. Like I like the trumpets.
The transitions in this whole album are really good. There's a lot of stuff, but
the songs can actually go together, like almost like it's telling an actual story.
Right, and spoiler alert: this album is definitely telling something of a story. I'll tell you later. But
I'm gonna try to get. I think I'm gonna try to guess. I have literally like paragraphs about this.
Yeah, so. I would. Again, like I said, I would love to hear your theories because there are so many.
Moving down the list, The Fool, a great song. I love the trumpets.
Not much to say about it, obviously, but it's.
But then Holland 1945 is like, I think my most played song off the album since listening to it. It's one of my girlfriend's favorites. So obviously when I'm in the car with her, we can both sing to it. But like, it's one of the saddest. Like it's very sad.
Yeah, but it's fast and upbeat, so you don't really
exactly. But the lyrics of like she's buried with her mother and like her something and 500 families. I was like. I'm like, this song's about World War II. This album's about World War II. This is this song is an ode to the specifically like the Nazis and all that, like the killings and all that, because it's Holland 1945.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty obvious from the title, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I realized the other stuff about it, like a lot of this is about loss and like death and like like either unexpected death. Like I think Two-Headed Boy was like has that aspect of. Well, and I'll get into part 2 because I kind of connect part 1 to part 2.
Yeah, part 2 is surely crazy. Something.
So I also said that Holland 1945 is an example of what Midwest indie wants to be. Like, think about, like our boys Freezer Bees, like that kind of music. They want to sound like Holland 1945.
Yeah, I feel that. They're a little bit more like rock and roll, or this is a little more folk, but I feel that.
But do you know what I mean? The energy, production, it's all what like.
Yeah, I actually really like Freezer Bees, by the way. Shout out to Freezer Bees.
Shout out Freezer Bees. That album is amazing.
Hometown Heroes.
That album is amazing.
It actually is pretty good.
Repping Southeast Michigan.
Southeast Michigan, baby. Stream the Freezer Bees.
Yeah. But anyway. I also have it as the loss from war, like that kind of vague, like maybe not World War II, but like the album in general is talking about loss and like the casualties of war and like, and then that leads into the communist daughter really well, actually, because I think that's literally it's about and like I said the song is like it's like must mean some sort of loss of innocence. I said that the daughter in the song could stand something for like a country being violated.
I like that.
Or it's used for ill intentions, like the movement of the cocoa leaves, like could mean the movement of ammunition or like drugs or something vague. Or I have more pretty vague. It's like, or a girl has lost any like will to live or like motivation and resorts to sex and drug use. So that's what I kind of, it's just this loss of innocence.
I'll say about this song, I'll just chime in here. Other than, so as far as the chorus goes, which if you haven't heard the song, he
Semen stains the mountaintops.
Semen stains the mountaintops.
I love that line. That's my favorite line in the whole album.
It's one of mine too, but I have not tried too hard to figure out what it means because it's just like
obvious.
Yeah, well, it seems obvious, but then it's also like I don't feel like it has to do with the rest of the song. So I've never really looked too deep into this song, except for like the verse where he talked about cocoa leaves along the border, sweetness swings from every corner, cars careening from the clouds, the bridges burst and twist around.
Yeah.
So those lyrics really intrigued me for a while.
Right.
And I kind of, I didn't theorize this. I went on Genius and read what they meant. Because I just wanted to know. I wasn't really into making theories, but the cars careening from the clouds could be planes.
Yeah.
And the bridges bursting and twisting around, that could represent the planes dropping bombs during World War II and just the destruction that caused.
Yep.
And that's a theory that I like to believe for this song.
It could be, hear me out. So because of it, the name being Communist Daughter, it could stand for, the actual name could be like the motherland of Russia, because it's a daughter, motherland, and daughter.
Yeah, and communist.
So it's still that innocence like lost during this war. Like, I mean, Russia faced the most losses out of anybody in the war.
Yeah, they did. They lost the most soldiers.
You know, this song could be about like that front.
It could be, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the second verse after the one that I just read, now we shift from talking about something general about what's going on in the world back to our, say, main character of the album. So throughout this whole album, he describes a she and a her, kind of vaguely. Yep. So we go back to that character.
And the kid, like the...
Right, yeah. I think it's implied that she's a child, but it says, wanting something warm and moving, bends towards herself, the soothing, proves that she must still exist. She moves herself about her fits.
Yeah.
And so I think it could be a couple things. I think it could be going off what you were saying about it being like wartime and stuff, where it says proves that she must still exist. Like this could just be there's something traumatic happening, you know, planes are coming from the clouds and bombing bridges and stuff. And this could just be someone in the heat of that, kind of just dealing with the repercussions of that.
Yeah.
Or it could be pertaining to the more sexual aspects of this song with semen stains the mountaintops and all that. This could be a metaphor for masturbation with bends towards herself.
I thought it was fetal, like a fetal position.
That could be it too. Like
I imagined the communist daughter, like after all this shit is happening to her, in a fetal position, being like, when is
the communist daughter could represent a literal person, or it could just be, like you said, it could be the entire country dealing with this.
Yeah,
that's really insightful.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
This short little song, the song's about a minute and a half, has so much packed into it in terms of the
lyricism.
Yeah, driving the story of this album.
I almost didn't write anything about this album, but I think it's the most I have written on a song.
Yeah, exactly. It's the shortest song and it has almost the most packed into it. And then you go from this into "Oh Comely," which is the longest song.
Oh, and it's beautiful. And it's beautiful. I love this.
It is beautiful, and it has my favorite lyrics of the entire album on it. And so this is a song that was recorded in one take. They say that Jeff Magnum went into the studio with his guitar and played it and sang it at the same time, all at once in one take. It was, mixed and mastered later, but other than that, this is just the original first take. And if you listen extremely closely to the very end of the song, you can hear in the background someone say "holy shit," and that is another band member in the studio watching this go down. Legend has it.
That's awesome.
Just fun fact.
Yeah, I thought this really hit me hard, because I said it was an allegory for being in love with someone that just uses you for sex.
Yeah, very sexual song.
It hit me hard, because that's kind of like my last relationship was a lot like that. Like it was very like abusive in that way, like mentally.
Yeah.
So it was like, damn, like I feel like I've been there. Like I feel like I've been in that spot where the guy, like not the actual singer singing it, like
the character.
The character. I felt like I was that character. And I was but I sat there for the whole 8 minutes and I was like in that guy's head. Like I felt like I was there.
Yeah.
I also have this big or, like in capital letters. I'm like, or this is my moment into listening to the album where I figure that it's all an allegory for war, specifically World War II.
Yes.
And specifically the line that his love is buried with 500 families, the lots of, like Holocaust, Holland.
Yep.
Like,
And that is, I'm actually just literally got goosebumps because that's my favorite verse on the entire album.
It's one of the strongest verses
just
on that song.
Sonically, songwriting wise, and vocal performance wise, I think the fifth verse of O Comely, which is what we're talking about, is really the holy grail of In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. I think it's like the climax of the entire album.
Yeah.
Like you said, I know they buried her body with others, her sister and mother and 500 families.
Yep.
So that just sets up like...
Well, just even like after he goes like, he doesn't even say a word, but then he goes and like kind of goes like, like he kind of like hits that high note after the verses. That shit is like, that's like pure dopamine in your brain.
Yeah,
like,
so I see it as a moment to like think and reflect on what you just heard, because those verses hit like a truck. You can't even interpret them fast enough. When he's doing that little interlude between verses where he's just singing that note, I then go and think about what I just heard, and I think that's just like an amazing artistic choice. If that was the intention or not, I think it's just amazing that the verses are broken up with that, because it makes me just think, and I love that.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the longest song, the most powerful song, but it's easily summed up. Like it's so powerful.
Right.
That's just a good, powerful song.
Right.
It does its job. It's. I mean, I took it as the more personal allegory for, maybe like the more individual, but I think that's what this album kind of does good, is that it makes you feel like it could be this broad story or more individual stories of like this narrator going through things. And I mean, I think like the last like 3 songs on the album are like Ghost and Untitled are weak in my opinion. Like
they don't have as much packed into them as the rest. They're good sonically, right, but in terms of narrative, I don't think they add.
No, I had a lot less written for these. Like I just said, Ghost is crazy powerful, and I'm guessing it's another song about loss, like loss of love or loss of people that you care about. Untitled.
I will say actually about Ghost, I kind of lied when I said it doesn't really build to the narrative. It talks about the character a little bit,
yeah,
but
it's just a weird, like for me, it was very different from O Comely. Like I was very
it's a stark contrast.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
Still a good song. Like I think it's still a good song.
Yeah, so I'll say while we're on it, I'll say Ghost gave the main fan theory of this out. I say theory, it's all but confirmed. It kind of gave it its origin. The lyric, he says, and she was born in 1929. So that now establishes that this character we're talking about was born in 1929.
Yep.
So I won't spoil it till the end, but that narrows it down a lot.
Yeah.
To a real historical figure. But anyways, moving on.
Yeah. Okay. So and then Untitled is I wrote down, it gives me Wow Wow Wubsy mixed with pub rock, like Dropkick Murphys like vibes.
Okay.
Like I don't know. That's just like that whole like song. I don't know.
It's a good song.
It's a good song, but I actually really liked it, but it reminded me of like I would be in like a weird, like if I was on acid in Boston during a Red Sox game. That's like kind of what that song would be playing. Like that song would be playing.
Yeah, I could see that now that you explain it like that. I didn't get it from your first.
My more random.
I don't know where the Wow Wow Wubsy comes from, but we'll just go with it. We'll with it.
Got Wow Wow Wubsy vibe. Yeah. Anyway,
did you think that when you clicked on this podcast, you were going to get to hear about Seaman, World War II, and Wow Wow Wubsy in the same half hour?
Who would have thought?
We're doing something special here with Classic Mix Up.
Yeah, got to come back to Classic Mix Up to get just golden moments.
Anyways, my favorite part about Untitled is just leading into Two-Headed Boy Part 2.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I have a lot. I have a pretty good. I said it's just a great ending. Like it's Two-Headed Boy Part 2
about
is
as
like
perfect as you can get.
Yeah. Okay. So I said it seemed to be contrasting the first part. It's a more of a reflection of loss. The narrator he needs help. Like he's kind of like crying out for this help. He's cautioning this boy of this girl that he'll almost like fall deeply in love with her, but then he'll get hurt. So like she'll die or like be lost to some way. Like I'm assuming that we're following some sort of love, and this love is gone, and like death is like the theme, I guess. Like
it's a complex song. There's a lot going on. That's definitely part of it. I think a lyric that reinforces that is at the start of what. So this song's kind of structured in like small verses. I don't really know how to describe it, but I don't know. Early in the song, but about halfway through, he said it starts picking up, and he starts getting more worked up, and he says, "And in my dreams, you're alive." That to me is really telling of what you were saying about how he is dealing with loss, but he's probably not dealing with it in the best way by the sounds of it.
Right.
And he says, "I love you for the rest of your life." And then he switches to now addressing somebody else because he says brother. So he's not talking about the her of this album anymore.
Yeah.
He's saying, "Brothers, see, we are one and the same. And you left with your head filled with flames. And you watched as your brains fell out through your teeth."
Yes. So I saw that as like he's talking maybe to himself, or this narrator's talking to himself, or like someone that he's lost.
Yeah.
And then after this guy, after this brother, or I thought it was like a boy, like a younger version of himself.
Yeah,
or
that's what I was.
And he kills himself. Like that's what that is like your brain's falling through your teeth. Like he probably died himself after he found out his love was gone.
Yeah.
Which is deep, but I think that's just blatantly what happened.
That definitely could be what happens, because I'll bring it now to the last verse, the last lines of this whole album. He says, "Two-headed boy, she is all you could need. She will feed you tomatoes and radio wire and retire to sheets safe and clean, but don't hate her when she gets up to leave." So I think if we roll with our kind of current theory through this song, that there is loss of a loved one and there's death and all that, and now he's saying two-headed boy, she is all you could need. Like he's saying like she was the one that he needed,
but it's
now
okay
she's
that
gone.
She's gone. It's okay that she's gone.
It's okay.
Dude, there's so many undertones in this album that like you can look at it two different ways. You can look at it from the personal perspective of the narrator. Like in this song, he's talking to maybe himself as a younger kid, or
he could be, he's addressing the two-headed boy. That could be him with him,
right?
Yeah.
Or whoever, the narrator isn't really, I don't think, is the actual writer, but I think it's the narrator is separate from the dude writing it, and its own character is the narrator. But then the narrator is in some of the songs talking to other people, like Two-Headed Boy. He talks about in the first part, almost more first person. This one he disassociates from
now
that.
Now he's like omnipresent and talking back to perhaps himself in the
his
past,
younger self
earlier. Yeah.
Well, and I think this is like more. This like Two-Headed Boy Part 2 is more about the personal loss of love, whether it be through death or like in general. Like you could take it as. Right. But that last line is so strong, because I don't know, like if that you're understanding this, because like I feel like I've been through like some rough love situations, like with girlfriends and that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. I can't relate as much personally, but that's great that you got that out of that. It's profound. And so that now,
but it's okay to let them leave. Like I'm like, this is like I needed it. Like this is like stuff I needed to hear. Like. A year ago,
and then finally the last two lines of the album, "Don't hate her when she gets up to leave." Like that's it. She's gone,
but she fed you shit. She fed you tomatoes and radio wire.
Yeah.
Right.
No, she's all that you need, but she feeds you tomato and radio wire. You retire to sheets safe and clean, and don't hate her when she gets up to leave. Like I think that pretty much says it all,
dude. It's again like this album is. is way better than I would ever thought it would.
It's
Like,
insane. It's really just
the writing is good because I think I like songs that you can kind of pull away. Like if you're gonna have some emotional songs, they got to have several takeaways. You got to have like discussions about them, like me and you are having right now. Like,
I can't believe I'm so happy, but I can't believe you got all of this out of your first listen. I know you took notes, but
I haven't listened to it since.
I thought it was going to be.
Songs.
I thought it was going to be me lecturing you on all of the things that I thought, but I thought it was amazing to hear the things that you thought and then kind of just chime in along the way of some little things I caught.
No, I had to. I was listening. I don't have a lot for the first two songs, like first three.
But then you started.
But then I started listening.
Yeah.
Like first three songs, I didn't give a shit about. But Two-Headed Boy, like I loved King of Carrot Flowers.
But you didn't have that much depth to it. So that was me for the whole album. The first.
Yeah.
I'd say at least 2 times I heard it before I started. So I always knew, the lyrics are just weird. Then I started trying to understand them, and there's so much to them. And that's been my last 10 listens of it. I've spent trying to decode this menagerie of just. It's insane. It's complex. Everyone should listen to it. It's essential. It's a cult classic.
It is everything that Reddit raves about.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, but it's beautiful though.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say like look at this album on your own and say like, okay, I heard from the Classic Mix-Up that this album is really good.
Form your own.
I'm gonna listen to it without looking at anything else, looking at any like YouTube videos, anything like that. Like, just do your own listen, and if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But do this album.
But figuring it out for yourself is super satisfying. Like what Riley's done, I'm sure you feel amazing that you come away with all this stuff from it. Yeah,
I mean, I think even if I like watched some dude's YouTube video on like breaking it down, it would ruin it.
It would still.
Like, fuck, this guy said this about this album. No, it's about this.
Yeah, which is what makes a good piece of media. Really, in the end, is that you watch it or you listen to it or you experience it in whatever form of media it is, and you walk away from it and you talk to the person next to you about it and you don't get the same thing out of it and you discuss it. I mean, it's like, look at the books you read in English class. Everyone has their own different theories about what certain things mean and symbolism and stuff. This is just that in album form. Yeah,
this is like, were you like an advanced English kid?
Yeah, I was in AP for.
Yeah, me too. I was as well. So
yeah, we didn't go to high school together. We went to middle school together, and then we went to for the record.
Yes. So I was a big English nerd. Like I actually read the books that you were supposed to take home, and like
that was not me, but
I loved Shakespeare. Loved me some Shakespeare. So when someone's like, "Oh man, that's a Romeo and Juliet reference," I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Like that's
right. Like you already know all the references.
Yeah, I like Macbeth. I like all that kind of stuff. So music is kind of like the way that I keep that love of reading analysis in my life, because I don't have like I have books that I like to read, but they're often like more informational books, less like analysis books. So
yeah, but like you said, listening to albums and analyzing them is kind of a way to keep that alive.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So now that we're at the end, I'll kind of say the overarching theory that I choose to believe.
Do it
about the entire thing. So we really got close to it in our Two-Headed Boy Part 2 discussion, because we were saying how it could be about many different things, which this album could be about many different things. I personally like to see it as an allegory, a kind of a parallel drawn between personal love and loss and the Holocaust and World War II. And
that's exactly what I. Exactly.
And the great bridge between those two things, the one person who links them is Anne Frank, who many people believe is the girl that he's singing about. And people like to theorize about Jeff Magnum. He was an interesting character, and he's gone off the grid since this album came out, and he doesn't like interviews and he doesn't like concerts and stuff like that. He's really exactly the guy you would expect to make this record.
Oh, he has some. Yeah, he looks like a.
He's a recluse in current times, but people like to say that he has like a weird obsession with Anne Frank, like he was in love with her, and like he sings about a time machine in O Comely. He says like, "Will she remember me 50 years later? I wish I could save her in some sort of time machine." I like to think of it as Anne Frank is his way of is his personification of the loss in the Holocaust, which is then used as a parallel to maybe a real girl in his life that he does love and lost, maybe not necessarily to death, but just in the aftermath of a relationship.
Yeah.
It's heavy shit,
dude.
But yeah, I'm not okay. Riley can attest that I'm not the type of guy to like say those type of things about like normal pieces of media. Like, okay, you guys heard me talk about Glow On. I was just like, oh, this sounds good. This album does something different for me. It's kind of opened up a new way.
It's definitely it's a storytelling album. It's like, it's one of those albums that you can listen to and be like, oh shit, this is about Anne Frank. Oh no, this is about an abusive relationship. Whatever.
It's totally up for interpretation, which should be all the more motivation for anyone listening to this to go out and listen to it, pay attention to the lyrics, listen to it multiple times, all that.
Yeah, dude. This is or be like my professor and confess your love for your now wife to a song on it.
Goals. I think I tweeted something a few weeks ago. I was like, she let me hit because I explained in the Aeroplane Over the Sea, and it had a bunch of quote tweets like, this did not happen, and I'm like, it did not happen. But anyways, I love that I listened to a whole lot of Red this morning, and that tonight I'm analyzing in the Aeroplane Over the Sea. I like that I had that range.
Dude, don't ever give me Playboy Cardi to listen to. I will not listen to it.
I'm not going to give you shit that you're not going to like. Okay, we're both trying to be.
I'm not a vamp. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
a vamp. For the record, let the record show that I'm a vamp. But
fuck.
I'm not going to give you a whole lot of Red, but I will say that it's a 10.
No,
it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It's
what would you rank? What would you rank this album?
A 10 as well. It's a perfect album. I'm not one for giving albums numbers, by the way. The only time I'll really do it is if I need a way of saying it's one of my favorites. Yeah. So I'll say 10. Beyond that, I don't really like bringing mathematical system into subjective album listening.
Are you calling out Anthony Fantano?
I'm calling out Anthony Fantano as well as anyone else who ranks albums out of 10, especially after one listen, because I think you're taking a body of work, like a piece of music, and you're narrowing it down to just a single digit, and that just, I don't know. I think if someone listened to an album with the depth of In the Airplane Over the Sea and then just said 7, like I would just say, like, I don't think you're really. Not because of the rating. I think just giving it a rating is you're just overlooking, I guess. Yeah. That's my thoughts on it. And I'm not like, I don't want to be pretentious. I don't want to gatekeep. I don't care if people rate albums with numbers. I just personally don't do it because I think it takes away from the rest of the review. Like when Fantano posts a new video, people skip to the end because they want to see the number. They don't care about what he has to say.
That's why I watch his podcast instead of.
He's cool. I don't agree with his opinions, but I respect what he's doing.
No, he gives a lot of people platforms, and I think what I think Fantano does good is that he creates a personal connection between the audience and like an artist by having them on things, like having Joey Badass on stuff, like, and Joey Badass calls him out for giving 2000 like a 7 or whatever. Yeah, and Joey Badass is like, yeah, what the fuck, like. This is like my magnum opus, like sequel to my most popular album. Like, and Fantano's like, oh, he's just a nerd like all of us. At the end of the day, we're all kind of expressing our opinions. And I think Fantano like paved the way for a lot of people to express their minds in a way that's not Like everybody being like, dude, that Kanye album's awesome. Like, oh yeah, and then now we all got to listen to Kanye. No, I think Fantano like may not have views that everybody else has, but
it's
it
good
causes
to,
people to like discuss music and actually
yeah,
open their minds.
that's what I was saying when I say I don't agree with his opinions sometimes, but I love the discourse that he brings up and the results of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about any like new music maybe that came out
That I've
recently
been
or is
listening
coming out?
to.
I don't know. I haven't really been
for
listening to
sure.
much new stuff.
I listened to Soundgarden's like first album, Louder Than Love.
Cool.
That album is so heavy. Like I didn't realize how heavy it was. I listened
Yeah.
to it back in middle school. I was a big like grunge guy in middle school too,
Right.
but never really realized how more like thrash inspired the first Soundgarden album is.
My stepmom likes them, and she likes Hailstorm and all that
Yep.
grungy,
Hailstorm.
thrashy shit. I think I want to say that my dad and my stepmom were at the last show they ever performed because
yeah, I remember it, dude. We were in middle. That was freshman year. Do you remember that? Like, I ran up to you,
right?
Yeah, I ran up to you, and I'm like, dude, Chris Cornell died.
Yeah.
Do you remember that shit?
I do, and I didn't know anything about them, but then when you said Soundgarden, I was like, oh, my dad was there.
I wanted to go to that
performed
show.
in Detroit the night before.
I wanted to go to that Chris Cornell show.
Yeah.
I bought his they came out with a double LP like vinyl that was like a whole bunch of his songs, like Audio Slave, Soundgarden, his solo stuff, live stuff. I bought it, like I pre-ordered it, went to my record store and bought it, and I have this poster, and like I was a big Chris Cornell fan freshman year.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man. At the Fox, I think.
Yeah,
maybe the Masonic.
I couldn't remember that information if I tried.
Either.
But
rest in
anyways,
peace, man.
In terms of transitioning, rest in peace. In terms of new music, there wasn't too much last Friday, but I will say that it will be episode, I think, 3 of our podcast. September 30th, there is a huge slate of new music coming out. So I don't know if you've been.
Is that the Boldy James album that's coming out?
So there's a lot coming out. So Friday, September 30th, we have Soul Sold Separately by Freddie Gibbs. Long awaited next Freddie Gibbs album. It's been a while. Kiss the Ring by Rome Streets. So Rome Streets Griselda debut, executive produced by West Side Gun.
Which is going to be disgusting.
I am so fucking excited for that because Rome Streets is out rapping just about anybody right now. But we'll get into that in the podcast episode after this New Music Friday. But Kid Cudi is dropping Intergalactic, his album to go along with his new animated show.
Yep.
Blade is dropping his new album Spider, which I don't have much to say about. Do you listen to Blade?
No.
Yeah, I tried. I tried. I really like some songs. Some songs I really are not for me, but I'm gonna give us a shot.
I can't.
It's. We'll save my thoughts
tried.
on Blade for another Blade and the Drainers.
I think he's a fun dude. I'll say it right now. I think he's a fun dude, and his fans are really dedicated. And I love Drainers. Like, I feel like I get along with Drainers really well.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really identify with them, but I feel like I don't know.
They're crazy, but
he's a polarizing figure. But
yeah, I just don't. I just can't. I don't like the music.
It's not that good. I don't really see what people see in it, but. I don't know.
It's fun, I guess. Like I can listen to it.
I'll be tapping into the new album just to see.
Yeah.
And then fifth and finally, Boldy James is dropping his new mixtape, fully produced by Nicholas Craven. They have a single out right now called Power Nap.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's so good.
It's a banger, yeah. So I'm so excited for a whole tape of Boldy on that production. I'm excited for this Friday. This is next Friday.
Let's go, Boldy.
So, yeah.
Dude, that Griselda is up, man.
Of course. We talked about this in our
Lost episode.
Practice episode, we'll say.
Yeah.
I guess we might as well tell, without getting too much into details, me and Riley recorded an entire episode of Classic Mix-Up before this. that was lost to the void, but it was a good practice episode. So this is our official episode 1, hopefully.
Yeah.
But we talked all about Griselda and Billy Woods and all them. And
Yep.
I don't think we need to rehash that, but damn,
No.
Griselda is up right now, and they have Rome Streets and Boldy James dropping next Friday.
Yep. I can already say they're going to be good albums. Like
You just know.
Yeah.
No one from that collective has put out a bad album yet. I mean, they're so consistent.
True. Yeah, no, it's true. I don't think I dislike anything that any of them have put out.
No, I mean there's weaker stuff, but it's just
yeah. I mean, like if you throw all of West Side Gun's songs on like a chart based on strength,
right?
I'd say 50% of them aren't gonna be super strong. Like, but the strongest 50% are awesome,
yeah.
And a bunch of like nonsense that us music nerds love to regurgitate and say like boo 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 boo, like like all that kind of shit. Yeah. That he's like selling crack.
I sold crack to a pine tree. Sorry, that's a Hive Mind bit. Shout out Hive Mind. Shout out Detroit.
Shout out Detroit.
I think we did the same shit last week, but
yeah, no, we got to shout out Detroit, man. That's
we got to shout out Detroit. We're from Southeast Michigan, Detroit area. Got to represent,
dude.
But I haven't been listening to much lately. I mean, I listened to East by Joanna Newsom, which is considered one of the essential folk records of all time.
Dude, you're getting into folk, really? Like,
oh, big time. Big time.
Dude, you're getting into folk.
I love it so much. I love Fleet Foxes. That's what I've been listening to this week a lot.
Which is awesome.
I love Helplessness Blues and their debut self-titled album.
Mm-hmm.
Their most recent album, Crack Up. Or I don't know if that's their most recent or not. It might be their second most recent, but I like it. Not as much as the older ones, but it's good. But I've been really listening to Helplessness Blues heavy. And I've been listening to this album. It's actually Japanese. It's Ichigo Aoba. I believe the album is called Zero. It's just got a pink square for the cover, and it's all in Japanese. And I can't understand a word she's saying, but it's beautiful. So, yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been this band called Palace. They have a 2016 album called So Long Forever.
Okay.
And I've listened to the whole album like over and over and over. Past
what genre is it?
It's like a pop rock kind of slower.
I like that.
But it's like right up my alley. Like it's like
by you saying right up your alley, I can already tell what it sounds like.
Like it's kind of slower, like I don't know, it's just good. Like it's a lot of like slow, like it's sadder music, I would even say.
Yeah. It's not like fast up
I eat that shit up.
Yeah.
I eat that up.
For sure.
I mean, I've been listening to that, it's really good. I initially got into them through a song called Veins that they released like back in 2014 or something like that.
Okay.
And it's a song about like love. I recommend Veins as a single, like for you, like right now, like not listening to it right now, but
maybe when we get off the podcast though.
Yeah. Like it's,
for sure.
It's off of their 2014 EP. That's like 5 songs. And I think it's their first EP that's like professionally released or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And the song Veins is like, it's good. It's like about a love that becomes kind of toxic, and then he has to like use drugs like heroin, that kind of thing. But it's just good. It's just a good song. I don't know. And then it led me into their 2016 album, So Long Forever, and that's what I've been listening to. What else? Yeah,
I've been pretty busy in terms of listening to new music. I mean, I've been throwing on playlists. I listened to a whole lot of Red, but that's not new. I've been listening to that for months. So.
Oh, dude, I tweeted. This is actually a topic I wanted to bring up. Hozier has a song about getting pegged.
Are you serious?
Dude, I I love me some Hozier.
Yeah,
But
I've never
my
really
girlfriend
traveled.
brought up an argument about a certain lyric in a song, and this is perfect for this album or this podcast.
Okay.
It's called. Oh shit! I'm trying to find the song. It's called. Oh, okay. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second.
You're good. I'm now.
Yeah, look up Hozier's song where he gets pegged.
Okay.
Hozier's song getting pegged.
I'm gonna Google that. I don't
And
know. It's
first thing that comes up is like a Reddit post about like his weirdest lyrics, and someone says a specific lyric. Oh, it's called "Dinner and Diatribes," and that's the song. And I like knew the song, but my girlfriend was like, I was like, man, I love Hozier. I can play like this song, like Cherry Wine. I love that song. And she's like, do you know the song? She's like, he like, she didn't say like he has a song about getting pegged. She's like, you know that Hozier gets pegged. I was like, hold on, what? This is new to me.
Okay, so what led her to believe this?
Okay, so I guess it's a pretty common thing that this lyric exists. That like, the song is like pretty like sexual. It's like the chorus is like, I've been dreaming of. That's the kind of love. He's like, that's the love I've been dreaming of. Like, it's very like, there's lines like, let there be damage ensued and the tabloid news. What else? I need to find. Hold on, I'll find it.
Okay.
There's some fun.
I'm reading the lyrics of this song. I think I see like the main thing you're talking about.
I can't find.
He says at the start of verse 2, "Honey, I laugh when it sinks in."
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I clicked on the Genius annotation. It says Hozier could be referring to the fact that he gets pegged.
Yes. See, I took it as like he was having sex with the chick, his girl that he's talking.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, let's get out of this club. The song to me initially, like when I first listened to it, was like, all right, babe, man, this club sucks. Like, but I'm hot and bothered. Like, we gotta fuck. Like, that's what I took from the song. Like, he needs to get out there. Him and his girlfriend have this tension right now, and they need to go and like have sex. And this is a pretty vivid conversation I'm having with my girlfriend about this, and I'm like, no, why would he? Like, that could be like normal sex. Like, if he's watching it sink in, it could be not a literal thing. It'd be like theoretical of like the knowing that you're just gonna.
This is a great date idea. Analyze Hozier's pegging lyrics.
Yeah. Honey, yeah. The line is, that's the kind of love I've been dreaming of. Honey, I laugh when it sinks in. I'm a pillar of pride. But I don't think that's him. Like, it doesn't say like, oh, you're sinking it into me.
So what's your stance? Do you think it's a fan theory, or do you think
I think it's a fan theory?
Okay.
But now it's
like
now I just believe that's. I think it's funnier. I think it's funnier.
And anyone who hears the podcast is just gonna have to get the image of Hozier getting pegged if they ever hear this song.
I think it's funnier to believe that line is him getting pegged. And now, in a serious discussion, I will defend that it's not. But in a nonchalant discussion, I'm always going to say, if anybody brings up Hozier, I'm going to be like, you know, he has a lyric about getting pegged, right?
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
And even between me and my girlfriend, it's like, Hozier likes to get pegged. Like, it's like, if we're talking about music, it's like.
Sounds like a healthy relationship you got there.
She convinced me that it was like that is him getting pegged.
That's goals.
Yeah. And she likes Nutri-Milk Hotel.
She does, yeah.
She couldn't believe I never listened to it before all the way through. And now we sing Holland 1945 together in the car.
That's cute.
Yeah, I know. It's gross. Love it.
Yeah. Well,
it's disgusting. I literally I was in my room today and I texted her something and I got it and I'm such a fucking simp, and I punched the door. And I don't know why. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, I was opening the door to the bathroom and I like punched it open.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man. But what She listens to Neutral Milk Hotel. I'm in deep, man.
Yeah, I
Like
was just gonna
she's
say
got
you're
me.
in deep.
Rosario, she's got me. Like this
There's
music.
no running away now, dude. It's
No,
what
I don't want to run away.
I know.
I don't want to run away.
I know
I'm
you
comfy.
No,
I'm like in a nice weighted blanket.
that's beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Yes, the weighted blanket is your girlfriend liking Neutral Milk Hotel.
And telling me about how Hozier got pegged.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's stuff I love. I
That's
take that.
the stuff you can only dream of.
Yeah, dude. It's
The storybook ending. I'll talk about it at your wedding.
oh, dude, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we sign off, do we want to
plug anything? Yeah, I think we're about.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been going for like what, an hour?
We're sitting at an hour 21 right now, so
that's a good amount of time. That's
a good amount of time, and I think we both said we don't really have much more to talk about. So,
oh, do you want to give each other our next week albums?
Yeah. I was gonna say we're gonna give each other next week's albums. So, have you not decided until right in a second?
I had one, but I gotta give you. Have you listened to Midnight Marauders by Tribe Called Quest?
I haven't. Okay,
I recommend you that. That is a number. That's a 1B.
It's considering it's tattooed album on your body. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I do have a Tribe Called Quest tattoo.
Yeah,
that's true. So yeah, that album I can talk about for hours. So it's
and I'm gonna give you 1999 by Joey Badass because
yes, dude. Okay, it gives me an excuse to listen to it all the way through.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Two songs.
And we're getting back to the genre that I'm a little more comfortable with and can definitely pick out more nuances in and talk about one.
So. You want to know something funny though? We literally have this week we had a folk, indie, and a punk album.
Hard rock, yeah.
And then now we're doing both rap albums.
Should we do different genres or just we talk about rap next
week?
Dude,
it's a rap. Like rap. I guess it's a rap.
That's my favorite genre. I'll talk
because we gotta get prepped for the big 30th release date. You know, like you have to get into rap. Right. Like, can't be listening to like rock before Boldy drops.
You gotta hype yourself up for the Boldy.
Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, sweet. We gotta plug our stuff.
Plug our stuff. You can follow us on Twitter at Classic Mix-Up Pod.
Yep.
I don't really know what I'm going to use that for. Probably just tweeting
updates, future merch drops.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all that stuff. Lining up all of our celebrity interviews, stuff like that. But I'll probably be tweeting the link when new stuff drops and the schedule.
Hopefully we'll get our boys Freezer Bees on. That'd be a good start. Maybe an Indie Boy Friday, kind of Indie Boy week.
I've been doing Folk Music Fridays if you follow me on my personal Twitter. So that's at Classic Mix-Up Pod for the podcast Twitter.
Yep.
You can follow me. My personal account is at Meetsy Mike's Diary. It's MICI Mike's Diary.
Mm. I'm at Downerg91 DOOWNEERG 91 on Twitter. And I just I'll post music stuff, random stuff happening in life.
That's pretty much mine too. Mostly
cringy retweets, that kind of stuff. So just yell at us, go tell us, our opinions are.
Yeah, tell us how wrong I am about my interpretation of In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. I would love to hear your thoughts.
No, dude, how right we are.
True.
I hit it pretty on the head.
No, I mean you really nailed it.
And I didn't even look it up. I didn't look up anything.
Yeah. It's impressive. But I guess this has been Classic Mix-Up.
Episode 1, baby.
Yeah.
Done. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next week.
See you guys.